Good Sunday evening, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here live for our Sunday evening First Alert Weather live stream. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today as we just take a look at snow chances that have developed here throughout our Sunday, and we'll continue to see a snow chance here or there as we get into the new work week. As always, if you have any questions, head over to our Facebook channel, our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News. There I will try to answer any of the questions that you may have. I do apologize if I miss your question. I don't always have the chance to look over at our chat. But, well, lake effect snow chances have continued to be a sight here, especially along that 75 corridor, really all the way from the northern portions of the region all the way down south and east into the Thumb. That snow chance has continued here in the 8 o'clock hour. There is snow-covered roads out there, so if you do have travel plans, be careful with that. It could become slick, similar to last night. Temperatures are starting to drop below freezing, so that we could start to see some icy conditions. Last night, right around 10:30, 11, we saw some icy conditions down towards southern Shiawassee and Genesee County. So just be prepared. We could see a scenario similar to what we had yesterday for that. I did want to take a look outside real quick just to show you at a few locations where we have cameras. This is downtown Flint. It is showing that snow has fallen relatively good there where you have snow-covered roads. So if you're in that area and you had to hit the roads, please be careful. It could be slick in a few spots. Downtown Saginaw, not as bad. Still snow-covered roads there. Accumulations, though, you can see across the street there from our camera with the grass. A lot of that has melted throughout the day. That was the thing. You probably woke up, if you woke up early enough, which I know a lot of us were for USA Hockey, you probably woke up early enough and you didn't see much, or you saw some light snow, and by the time the game was over, that snow was melted. We had temperatures above freezing that helped keep away some of that snow sticking around through our day. No, I think at this point into the night, any snow that we do get, it is going to stick just because we are getting back below freezing here in the 8 o'clock hour. Looking at hour by hour for the next few hours shows that lake effect snow chance continuing through really 10 p.m. through midnight. It won't be until about 2 a.m. that we start to see it move down to the south and see it just to be more isolated as we're waking up for our Monday morning. By the time we get into Monday afternoon, we'll actually see some sunshine. We'll have a relatively clear and quiet afternoon, but that doesn't last long. Cloud cover will start to increase early Tuesday morning, and by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon, another chance of snow looks to arrive for us here in mid-Michigan. There's still some questions about timing. Some models have it a little bit later into the day Tuesday. Our hour by hour here showing it as early as 4 to 5 p.m. So just be prepared. This looks to be a pretty consistent snowfall as it moves in Tuesday. In terms of accumulations, right now it's holding about an inch to 3 inches. Now that will most likely change as we get a better reading. Some of the short-term models will be able to read this system, but for now it is looking like we will have another accumulating snow chance late Tuesday into Wednesday. Like anything, just if you have travel plans for that time period, just be prepared for slowdowns, be prepared for slick spots, and obviously be prepared for Wednesday morning to have to maybe shovel, scrape off your car, for that to maybe slow down your Wednesday morning plans. Now, as we look back towards mid-Michigan for right now, I did want to look at our first alert traffic just to see if we're seeing any slowdowns. Really haven't seen much here. We look down to the Bay region. I will say I have gotten reports of 75 from Saginaw to Flint being snow covered. So if you are traveling that area, just because it does look like speeds are fast, just be careful. We want everyone to be safe. Out to the east, we've had a few slowdowns, especially just south of Bad Axe. And then as you get down there towards Tuscola County, a few roads like M81 or M46 have had some slowdowns here or there. But for the most part, our first alert traffic map has been holding good conditions. I will say Genesee County has had those slowdowns as well. I did show off downtown Flint just a second ago where it is showing a snow-covered road. So if you are going to be traveling into Genesee County, or maybe you're traveling away, just be prepared for that. M15, 75's had a few slowdowns. It looks like downtown Flint has a few areas that are slowing down. And again, it's just because we're seeing more snowfall. I'll pull up our Flint and downtown camera just to show you, anyone that is joining late, what we're seeing there in Flint. Snow-covered roads, and that snow is continuing to fall here as we get through the 8 o'clock hour. And it's just been something we've been seeing all day. Like I mentioned before, earlier in the day, any of that snow we did get did end up melting pretty quickly, so that was a good thing. But at this point, we are below freezing in many locations. We'll look up our temperatures right now. Yeah, it's upper 20, so we're cool enough right now that any snow that does fall will have a decently easy time accumulating. And even on the roads now, if they're untreated, you may even get some accumulations there, like we just saw on our downtown Flint camera. Just blinked there for a second. Oscoda roads are crap there. Jessica says in our Facebook chat, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's an area that has gotten a little bit unlucky with that lake effect snow. Models struggled with that area yesterday. There was obviously that possibility. You have gotten some of that lake effect snow here today, so just be careful. I think it's going to be anywhere north of the bay, then along 75 and east of 75 into the Thumb. Those will be areas with more lake effect snow here over the next couple of hours where roads could continue to not be very good. So just play it safe out there if you do have to travel. Like I said, I have had a few reports of snow-covered roads in areas along 75 from Saginaw to Flint, and then out there towards Bad Axe as well. So just be careful with that. Richard asks, how about Midland? You're one of those areas that's going to be interesting to see if that lake effect does develop any farther west. I'm not going to count out you do get a few periods of snow here or there. I don't think it's going to be as consistent as some other areas as we get across the rest of tonight. But I definitely think there is that possibility. So still be careful if you do have to hit the roads. I think by morning, most of that snow should be out to your east, and you should be in pretty good shape if you do have plans for Monday morning. Like I said, though, temperatures, you're in the upper 20s, lower 30s right now across mid-Michigan. Still snowing. Scott says still snowing, about 3 inches. Yeah, there's a few areas, like I said, you're going to see snow continue to be a sight for the next few hours. It probably won't stop till past midnight. Temperatures, though, right now, upper 20s, lower 30s. Our wind also could be a factor. Blowing snow, I think, is definitely something we could see because our wind has increased. Right now, it's a north wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and we've been seeing wind gusts up to close to 40 miles per hour. Now, right now, it's just a little bit calmer than that. Port Hope at 31, Saginaw at 29, you have Flint at 26. So that is still a good enough wind that if we do get some lighter accumulations, it will blow. And if you're in an area that has been fighting blowing snow here through the winter, you probably see that again. I see that in our chat over here, still snowing and blowing. So that doesn't surprise me. Shelby, what about Bay City? You're in that area that's going to be close. You are definitely going to see some lake effect snow chances tonight. The consistency, that's been an area I mentioned yesterday on yesterday's evening stream. It's so tough to say because it is lake effect snow banding. It could change from minute to minute. So still be careful. I think, again, if you live 75, along 75, that includes Bay City, so just north of 75 there, but Bay City, Saginaw, Flint, I think Caro, Lapeer, Bad Axe, Port Hope, Chesaning, you're probably going to be just enough you'll see lake effect snow chances here over the next couple of hours through tonight into tomorrow morning. Linda says it got cold and windy really fast this afternoon. Yeah, that really played out pretty well. Again, there was a low pressure system that you can't see on our sky tracker, but it was just sitting out here where you can see my pointer out here across the lake, and it was sort of stalled out. It was moving pretty slowly, eventually started to track to the east, and as it moved to the east, it started increasing our winds. It also started to pull in some colder air from the north, so that is why our temperatures have started to drop. And let me see if I pull up our feels like temperatures, because they actually probably are feeling cold as well, just because of that combination of wind and dropping temperatures. So feels like temperatures right now across Michigan are, in the teens and 20s. So if you do have to be outdoors, you're going to feel cooler, especially compared to what we've been seeing. We did have obviously areas over the last 2 weeks where you were hitting 40s and closer to the 50s. So teens are definitely going to feel cold. It's nothing extreme, but definitely still want to be bundled up as you head out and about here for our Sunday evening and Monday morning. Because lows are going to continue to drop. Your lows for tonight are back into the teens. You will catch a few 20s down to the south. I think Owasso down to Perry. That will be an area you could be into the lower 20s. And then up to the north, Ogama and Roscommon counties, that includes West Branch and Holton Lake. It's showing teens. You could get to the single digits at times tonight into tomorrow morning. So don't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow morning, the thermometer says 9, 10 degrees because it is going to be a cold one out there. And as we get through the next week or so, our low temperature outlook continues to show sort of this up and down pattern. We'll have another cold night Monday into Tuesday morning. It's single digits and teens. We'll be back into the 20s for Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then just that mix of teens and 20s continuing Wednesday night, Thursday night. It looks like Friday night will be our warmest night of the week. And then by next weekend, we're back into the teens. Matt asks, how is 75 south towards 23 south going to look Monday? I think you'll be in good shape. There's still going to be some snow on the roads. I think, though, if road crews can get out there, that's a good tell because we are still not dropping that far. But still be careful. Blowing snow always becomes a concern. But I think we get through the night, that snow is eventually going to end. You're going to get better shape as more people get on the roads. And I think by the time many of us are waking up, you're going to see better road conditions, which is obviously a good sign. Now, as we get into Monday afternoon, your highs are going to be a little bit cooler. It's back into the teens, in the 20s, a little warmer down to the south. It would just continue that trend. The one thing you do see is we're below freezing everywhere, so that's what's going to keep any of those snow accumulations that you do get across mid-Michigan for Monday. We are seeing below average temperatures, average for this time of year, right around 34 degrees. And it's going to continue to be windy for our Monday. Here's your wind gust trend starting at 9 a.m. It's from the northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Does want to calm down a little bit late Monday night, but then that second system moves its way in on Tuesday, and it's a low pressure system. You start to tighten those pressure gradients with it. You start to get some of that sort of activity in the atmosphere, and that's when you start to see our winds increase. So even though we will see some relief from those stronger wind late Monday into Tuesday morning, I think by Tuesday evening we're going to be windy again. That will carry over into our Wednesday. Then our feels like temperatures, like I mentioned, it is cold out there with that mix of dropping temperatures and our stronger wind. Feels like temperatures will be in the single digits. So if you had to be outdoors from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m., it's going to feel cold out there because it does appear we're going to have feels like temperatures back into the single digits. Now let's look at our hour by hour once again for anyone that is joining just a little bit later. Again, lake effect snow chances will continue to be a sight for areas north of the bay. So that's going to include Ogama County, Aranac County, moving down towards Bay County. You'll get that into the Thumb, so Huron, Tuscola, Sanilac County. And then it's going to be how far west does it move. I think if you're going to be traveling along that 75 corridor from Bay City to Flint, that will be an area you most likely see some lake effect snow tonight, like we're already seeing in Flint. This lake effect snow will continue up until about 2 to 3 a.m. Then after that, it will move out, and we'll actually have a relatively dry Monday. There will just be a few isolated lake effect snow chances into Huron and Sanilac counties. Actually, we'll see some sunshine Monday afternoon, but our quiet pattern doesn't appear to last that long as we have another low pressure system. Let me load that hour by hour back up real quick. Computer's fighting me just a little bit. So, like I said, quiet pattern does look to end as we get into Tuesday afternoon. So Tuesday morning actually will be relatively nice just because it is quiet. But it does appear by mid to late afternoon, another round of snow will arrive. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, there's still some debate between the forecasting models about exactly when we're going to see this system move in. Some have it a little bit later. I think we're trending more towards that 5 or 6 p.m. range, but we'll have a better idea here over the next 24 hours. That snow chance will continue, reaching the Tri-Cities by 6 to 7 p.m., and then into the Thumb by 7 to 8 p.m., and then continuing to be something we see on and off through a majority of Tuesday night. Now, it does become more isolated late Tuesday, but still something we can see. By the time we wake up Wednesday morning, it does appear outside of an isolated lake effect snow chance for our northern counties, including Roscommon, Ogama, Gladwin, even Bay counties. Most of mid-Michigan should be dry for Wednesday. You'll see here, though, in our 7-day forecast, that does change again. There does appear to be another smaller system for Thursday. Again, the timing has been a little bit everywhere. I think that's been a common theme here over the last couple of systems. Is I think the forecasting models are maybe struggling a little bit with exact timings, but they've done a decently good job of, hey, this system's going to be here on this day. Be prepared. So another snow chance on Thursday. Doesn't look to be the heaviest, but it is there. And then we'll have some more isolated chances of snow and possibly rain for Saturday, and then snow on Sunday, but it's a pretty small chance. And I do think we're far out. Things are going to change as we get over the next couple of days. In terms of temperatures, it's 20s and 30s for the new work week. And then we're back into the 40s for next Saturday before dropping back into the 20s by this time next week. So we just continue that trend of sort of being up and down between 20s, 30s, 40s, then you'll have a day in the 40s, you'll have a day in the 20s. It just looks like that trend is going to continue. But with that, I don't see any more questions over in our chat. Linda, actually, I see that chat just now. How much snow on Tuesday? Things are definitely going to change between now and then. Like I said, there's still some inconsistencies. I think on a pretty broad scale, anticipate 1 to 3 inches. Now, if you live in northern mid-Michigan, including Roscommon, Ogama, if you live in Clare, you live in Gladwin, Whittemore, Tawas City, Standish, those areas north of the Bay, I think you're going to have a chance of seeing some isolated higher totals. Again, things are going to change. We'll see how timing plays out. But on a pretty broad sort of amount right now, I think 1 to 3 inches is where we're sitting for late Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll have a map out tomorrow, most likely, for that snow chance late Tuesday into Wednesday. So if you do want to tune in, you want to get those updates for next week, make sure you're tuning in to Wake Up in the morning, where TV5 First Alert meteorologist Matthew Monroe will have some updates on that snow chance. And then throughout the day, your TV5 First Alert weather team will continue to have updates on this snow chance, so we have sort of a better look at what this system is holding as it starts to develop here tonight into tomorrow morning. But I think, like you mentioned, snow for Tuesday, I think 1 to 3 inches is where we're sitting for now. There's obviously some room for change here over the next 24 hours. But with that, I don't see any more questions in our chat. Craig says hello. Hello to you as well. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Stay dry and stay safe. If you head to the roads, there are some snow-covered roads out there, and things could get icy as temperatures look to sit below freezing. Make sure you check out our website. Make sure you check out our live streams, and make sure you check out our newscast. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.